Hey there everyone. My parents split up when I was about 3 years old, so I've had 19 years of experience in this. I remember exactly how my mum told me that they were splitting up. I was in the back of the car and I had a bag of sweets. I was only three, and she pulled over and she told me that her and my dad weren't going to stay together, they were going to separate. And I remember exactly how I felt. I was in the back of the car and I couldn't eat the sweets. I felt physically sick. Even though I was only young, I still remember exactly what I was doing and how I felt. Now, the physically sick part really gets me thinking because I was only three. It's your instincts to know that your mum and dad should be together, and even at that age, I knew that something was wrong. I knew that it wasn't normal for them to split up. Okay, so a couple of weeks later, it was still rolling through my mind, and I remember dropping the bomb. Really, I was in the kitchen, and my mum and dad was in there, and I asked my dad when they were splitting up. However, my mum hadn't said anything to my dad yet, and I remember my dad's face was like, I just thought, okay, and I just carried on walking out. Now, there's a couple of stages what you may or may not go through. I did on some of them because I remember thinking, which was number one, that it was my fault. Now, you see it in the movies where people say, is it my fault? Where the parents split up, and you wouldn't think that, but you honestly do. For those of you who the parents are still together, you've never gone through this, you do actually go through it. It's a really strange sensation, to be fair. For those of you who know, you might have gone through it the same. Okay, so the first stage is thinking that it's your fault, and it's followed very closely by stage two, which is being upset. Now, this is completely normal. I think nearly enough everyone will go through the fact that you are upset because of your parents splitting up. It's only natural. Okay, so stage three could be denial, the fact that they're splitting up. You might not believe it, but you need to understand that it is happening. But it's not all bad, to be fair. I mean, my experience has been quite good. The fact that I've had two families who love me very, very much. I think for the best, all you've got to think about is if your mum and dad aren't happy and you're in denial, it's what's best for them. It's what will make them happy. Try to understand that because that's what you want. You want your mum and dad to be happy. In the long run, you'll be happy yourself. I then remember my mum moving out and moving in with this guy who was obviously a boyfriend. Didn't end up well in the end after years and years of being together, but he was such a nice guy and he looked after me. He really did. My dad had a couple of dates, but they didn't really like me, except one who we're still with now. He's married her and everything. She's she's lovely. I can't say anything bad about her, to be fair. She can't have children herself, but she's always said to me, Joel, I'm not your mum, and I'll never be your mum. I'm not going to try to be your mum, but I'm going to always be there for you. Now tell me differently if you think so, but I think that is one nice, genuine person. Now my mum has settled down with someone called Steve. He's a very laid back person. He used to be a racing driver. He's got four kids of his own, which are obviously now my stepbrothers and sisters, even though I don't see them because they're from Weston-super-Mare, which is obviously quite far away from where I am, South Yorkshire. Now him and my mum's been married now for a couple of years, and I don't think they can be happier. Which is where we come back to your mum and dad splitting up being good in the long run. I've never seen my dad happier with my stepmom. I've never seen my mum happier with my stepdad, which makes me happy in the long run. Also, for Christmas and everything, it can be a bit difficult, like whose house to go to first and then spend the night and everything. It can be quite difficult, but you get twice the presents. I'm only joking. It can be difficult in that respect too to see. I mean, I live with my mum and I see my dad now and again. Now, I know for a fact that that was quite hard on my dad to begin with. Even though he might not show it, I know it can be a burden to him. So if you've come to this video because you need advice on your parents splitting up, my advice to you is just accept it. Accept the fact that they're not happy, accept the fact that they're splitting up. In the long run you will be happier, especially if you do accept it. If you don't, you're just going to be in denial all your life, and that's just an unhappy life. Also, talk to people. Talk to people who've gone through the same thing. I mean, if you want, you can also message me and I'll get back to you. Put it in the comments below or anything. I will get back to you on it with some advice, or just if you want someone to talk, I'm here. Also, some other good people to talk to. If you're young and you have teachers, they've got a lot of life experience. You can always talk to your teachers. Your friends are the number one thing to talk to, really, because end of the day they're there for you if they are true friends. If they're not, then don't worry. I never really spoke to my friends about it much. I remember though one of my friends going through the same thing and him being quite upset about it. Because I'd already gone through it, I had loads of advice for him, and we were still really young. We were only 10 years old, I think. And I remember him going through it, and he's happier in the long run. I mean, he goes to music gigs with his dad. His mum is such a lovely person. He does live with his mum. The thing is, he still sees them and he's happy. He knows that those two are happy, so he's happy. All I'm trying to say, guys, is if it is happening to you, don't stay quiet. Give me a message, comment in the comments below if it has happened to you or you're going through it. We can be there for each other. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this video does help. If it does, don't forget you can put a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe by clicking around here somewhere. You'll see it says subscribe anyway. Alright guys, take care.